Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to talk about the movie Black Panther 2. I really am heartbroken to have to give this honest assessment of what I saw from the trailer. This is not a diss on Ryan Coogler or any of the people that worked hard on this movie. But y'all know me, I got to tell the truth. And there were some disturbing things I saw in the trailer involving sort of the absence of Black masculinity. And I'm going to explain to you why this concerns me. All I ask you to do is have an open mind. I'm not asking you to agree with me. We're going to have a family conversation in the place that matters, which is drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. So get comfortable, hit the thumbs up button, buckle your seatbelt. We're going to get started right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. Put in the name of your city. I love when you see tell me what city you come from in the chat. Anthony Ruffin and Flyest Bird and Karen Broadnax and Dr. Conrad Bingham. How you doing, brother? Yeah, okay, you bought that Snap stock that we were talking about. Yeah, well, Snap was an interesting company. We're going to talk about stocks a little bit later on in the day. You guys know we talk about stock market stuff every single day. But for now, I want to talk about another side of the money. I want to talk about this film, Black Panther 2. And as you tell me what cities you're coming from, Edna from Las Vegas. I see Salam out of L.A., Andre in Milwaukee, Ray in New England. Elijah Cox says, I'm glad to have a wife who understands my frustration. Yeah, a good wife. Let me tell you this. A good wife will keep you alive. A good wife will keep you away from the things that get you in trouble. A good wife can make your life better, but a bad wife is kind of the opposite. So don't pick a bad one. Take your time. That's probably the most important investment you'll ever make. So shout out to all the good wives out there and all the good husbands out there and all the good people that are holding it down for our community. In case you don't know, in case you're new, just know that in this space, we are B1. B1 means Black first. That means we put our community at the top of our priority list. We do like what my mom and daddy used to say. They'd be like, I don't care what the people down the street are doing with their kids. All that matters is what's going on in this house. And I'm the same way. I think Black people have to have important conversations that are privileged to us, that we're leading the discussion. We're not following the lead on CNN. We're not caring about what people think in Hollywood. We're not paying attention to what white folks are doing. We're not paying attention to anybody but us, because our people matter. Our children matter. The only people that will save our community will be us. Stop waiting for other people to save you. It ain't going to work. You've been waiting 400 years. It ain't happened yet. Now, with that being said, I see somebody's from Ghana. Carnita is all the way from Ghana. Shout out to Ghana. And shout out to the Ghana 4x100 meter relay team. Did y'all see those brothers running? I think they got 5th place, which was pretty good. They didn't medal, but they were up there. I mean, they were moving, and I was super proud to watch them, and super proud of all the Black men and women that were in the white ones too. They represented the country in the World Championships. It was really good to watch, and I think you may want to take a look at that. You got some really interesting people out there that are breaking world records and everything else. Now, with that said, let me jump into the conversation today. So I was in Philadelphia this weekend, and I was actually participating in an event with the Urban Youth Racing School out of Philadelphia. They had a bunch of really fast NASCAR drivers there, and it was a go-kart race, right? So here I am driving this go-kart fast, right? Like if you go around the curves funny, you're gonna crash. And we're driving with these NASCAR guys like Kyle Larson and some other guys. And so Michelle Martin and her husband Anthony have put this event together to introduce racing and STEM to Black kids. So they're doing really important work in the city of Philadelphia. And one of the things I like about the Martins is that they work together as a husband-wife team. I know their children. Their children are raised extremely well. They have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. They are solid. They are intelligent. They are going to be successful. And they understand the importance of the Black man. They understand the importance that you can't do it by yourself. They understand that you ain't got no superwoman who can grow a penis and testicles and become a father. They know that that's not possible. They also know that we men, we're not very good at creating vaginas or breast milk or giving birth. And I love that about them. That's one of the things I always loved and respected about the family and about what they do for the community. And so this sort of energy is what sort of hit my brain when I saw the trailer for Black Panther 2. So Black Panther 2, let me just start off by asking you all a question. I need to frame this discussion so you'll understand where I'm coming from. Because here's the thing. Whenever you start talking about something that's really popular amongst Black folks, it's really hard sometimes because every study shows that Black people are heavily, heavily influenced by entertainment. Nielsen, when they're talking to white companies on how to sell products to Black people, one of the things they mention in their studies is that Black people love celebrities and they love pretty much anything that's on TV. Like if you put it on TV, Black people are going to watch it. They will support your show. You can have their favorite celebrity endorse laundry detergent. They'll buy more laundry detergent. We are in love with our celebrities, and we are also in love with our rappers. That ain't healthy, y'all. It's not because they're all bad people, but it's because some of them promote stuff that's just not good for you. Some of them are almost like agents, like the agents of destruction. And I'm not saying that this is true in this film. I'm not putting Ryan Coogler in this category or any of the amazing actors in this film. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about them. What I'm saying is that it's very important that you understand that there's no such thing as just entertainment. See, anybody ever hear that from people like, oh, it's just entertainment. It's just TV. It's just a rap song. Let me tell you what, I was riding in an Uber with a brother. And when I was in Philly, when I was at the Urban Youth Racing School event, I was coming back to my hotel. This brother was playing like Lil Durk. If you know hip hop, you might know who Lil Durk is. And literally the chorus of the song was like, I'm gonna rob you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna turn the thieves into killers and shoot them in the head. Like every chorus was like that. And I was like, if you're listening to this all day long and this is being repeated over and over in your head, something's gonna be wrong with you. Like that ain't just entertainment. That is brainwashing. That is repetitive, subconscious mind stuff that sinks so deep into your psyche that you don't even know what's there. And this is true. Go study this, y'all. I really need y'all to understand this. And in fact, there was a brother named Lee England Jr. that I met at the Urban Youth Racing School event, who's a great violinist. He's actually the only violinist signed by the Air Jordan brand. So he's super dope. He's super hyped. Look him up on Spotify. I love this brother. We talked for a long time, and we talked explicitly about the vibrations of music in particular and how that can affect your thinking in so many different ways. And my wife is an expert on the subconscious mind as well. So we talk about that a lot. So where am I going with this? Why am I taking you to this little detour for a minute before we jump into talking about Black Panther 2? It's because entertainment matters, man. Entertainment really matters. It shapes how you view the world. It shapes how you see yourself. So here's where I'm going to start this conversation. I'm going to start off with a question. Give me a yes or no. Everybody give me a yes or no to this question. Everybody answer this question. Nobody sit on the silent. Everybody please answer this question. Did you grow up in a household with a daddy? Was your daddy in the house with you every day for your entire 18 years of growing up, meeting you at the breakfast table every day, every morning for 18 straight years? Meaning like not for 5 years and then he left. I'm talking about 18 years straight. Well, your daddy lived in the same home with you. Okay, so I see Juanita. Let's see. Fatima says yes. Cheryl says yes. LA Rock says no. Proverbs says no. Terrence says no. Okay, so there's a lot of yeses, a lot of no's, a lot of blended stuff in here. And I bet you that if I was talking to any of you under the age of, say, 30, the no's are much, much higher than the yeses. The no's are much, much higher than the yeses. And I've discussed this a little bit on this platform, so I'm not going to break it all down for you. There's other videos where we talk about this. But what I really need you to do is to be able to contextualize the reality that was created for you and where it all comes from. So basically, the missing Black father, and my father was missing. My biological father was not there. I was lucky, though. I had a wonderful man. I'm not even going to disgrace him by calling him a stepfather because it wasn't nothing step about him, wasn't nothing substitute, wasn't nothing second rate about him. That was a true king who stepped in my life and raised me. I carry his name. His name was Larry Watkins. My name is Boyce Watkins. My father had the first name Boyce. My biological father did. My father that raised me, his last name was Watkins, and I carry his name proudly. And he stepped in and took the place of the man that was not there. And so I'm in that no category, I'd say, because my biological father wasn't there, but I did have a man who replaced him. Why is that important? Well, because one of the problems with the Black community is that around the 70s and 80s, they shifted the whole narrative on you. They created this narrative of the Black community being this fatherless, manless community that is completely run and controlled by the women. That in order to be a part of the Black community, you need to have Black women with their combat boots on, head shaved, shotgun cocked, ready to go kick anybody's ass that comes and tries to mess with their children. The women were forced into roles that I would define, call me old-fashioned, call me sexist for saying this. I don't think it's sexist, but very masculine roles. You taking out the trash, you getting cards on Father's Day, you supposed to be painting the roof, you're fixing the flat tire. You're doing all these things because somebody created that image of the strong Black woman to replace the missing, emasculated Black man who had his balls removed, who is just either not present at all, or hooked on drugs, or marginalized from society, or unemployed and broke, or sitting up in a jail cell somewhere. This was the narrative. And a lot of this was created through a lot of different things, starting with the CIA putting crack cocaine in the Black community in the 1980s, shortly after the Civil Rights Movement. That's how they dismantled the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, all that. And then also the so-called war on drugs, which Joe Biden, this is why I will not vote for that man. I'm sorry, y'all can talk to me all day about Uncle Joe. He ain't Uncle nothing. If I see him, we gonna have a problem, because I know people that are still in prison from drug convictions in the 1990s, and these men had families. These men had children. He passed that law. He's the one. Remember, Joe Biden, your president with the son who smoked up all the crack last week. Hunter Biden, his son, who smoked every ounce of crack in the neighborhood. He was running around saying, if you get caught with even this much crack, you will get a minimum of 5 years in prison. The judge does not have a choice. And then he said, and this is the economic piece as well, he said, and we will not just take all the money you made from the drug deal, we will take everything you owned. And I need y'all to understand, when you're looking around and you're like, where's the Black wealth? Why do Black people have any wealth? Where'd the money go? The money just disappeared. We need better jobs. No, the money's gone because they took it from you. That's what happened to your wealth. That's why Black people because of policies like that. So look, here's the deal. This is what occurs. So here's what's crazy. Pay attention now. I need y'all to see the game, understand the game. This is getting to the Black Panther. And I'm not blaming all this on Ryan Coogler. Ryan, if you see this video, brother, feel free to call me, man. I'm not trying to beat you up or nothing, but I got to be honest right now, because I know that Hollywood is, I see the fingers of Hollywood kind of in this, right? Because, white folks always got their fingers and stuff. Because remember, Black Panther is not a Black-owned movie. It's not a Black movie. It is a white-owned movie that has Black actors in it and a Black narrative. It is not a Black movie. That's important for you to understand. So anyway, moving on with this. So here's the narrative. Here's what's fascinating. Here's the rope-a-dope. Here's how white supremacy plays chess on you instead of checkers. It's almost like, imagine somebody who is a rat exterminator. And so what they do is they go get a whole bunch, and you say, well, I don't need a rat exterminator because we don't got no rats. So then they go and they grab a big cage full of rats, and they release the rats and the roaches inside your house. So suddenly you've got rats and roaches everywhere. You don't know where they came from. You don't know that the CIA put the crack in your community, right? You don't know that the exterminator put the rats in your house. You're just like, oh my God, we got all these roaches and rats, and it's driving me crazy, and it's dangerous and it's scary. I don't know what to do. I need to call somebody. So you turn and they give you their card, and so you call the number. You're like, we need help. Our house is just riddled with rats and roaches. So they say, okay, no problem. Pay us some money and we'll come clean them out for you. Right. And so then they come and they're cleaning out the rats and roaches for you. Right. And they're taking all your money in the process. And because every time they seem to clean out all the rats, there's still some more. There's still some roaches, or there's some side effects and things like that. And then after that, because they cleaned your house of the rats and roaches that they put in there, they say, you see, I'm your best friend. See, you're a pretty lady. You should go on a date with me because I cleaned all the rats and roaches out of your house. So ain't I a nice guy? Right. So this is what I think that they did to the Black community. Here's the analogy. I want to go full circle to make sure you understand what I'm saying. So Black people are progressing. 1950s, early 60s, we got families, we got businesses. We're doing what Black people do. We're overcoming. We're gaining economic power. Even Dr. King realized before he died that economics was the key to all of this. He said, we come to Washington to pick up our check. That's when they killed him. When you start talking about the money, that's when capitalism puts its foot on your neck. That's when they start getting real gangster and real racist, when you start talking about the money. Or if you look at one example is Starbucks. Starbucks was a super woke, super liberal company. You talk about environmentalism, they're on board. Talk about LGBT, they're on board. Talk about gender equality, they're on board. But when the employees said, well, we're going to form a union so we can get higher pay, they're like, oh, like, what? Wait, no, we can't do that. Suddenly they become union busters. Because here's the deal. The people that are in charge of this country, whoever they are, they're very happy to feed you any kind of symbolism that'll make you feel good. They're very happy to tickle your butt crack and give you all kinds of nonsense. Oh, whisper sweet nothing's in your ear as long as a politician will always tell you that black lives and black is beautiful. We love black people and all these other things, but they get real nervous when you start talking about the economics, because that is where the real power lies. So with the black community, what they did that was really, really crazy was they destroyed the community with drugs. Then they create the war on drugs to try to fix it. Joe Biden and Bill Clinton, they try to pass these laws where they're going to incarcerate everybody connected with drugs. They weren't really killing the drug problem. They weren't going after kingpins. They were going after your sons and your nephew and your Uncle Willie that's still locked up to this day. And then they come to you and act like they really did you a favor. And then when you, 20 years later, pay attention now, I need y'all to follow the chain of events. This is a 30, 40-year process here. Please pay attention. Give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. So 20 years later, here's what happens. Let me give you a real life example. My wife last week, my wife is a relationship therapist, and she loves to matchmake. She loves to see people falling in love. That's what she loves to do, especially black people. She hosts a speed dating event in Atlanta. And in her speed dating event, about 30 women show up, and there's like 3 men. Literally. 30 women and 3 men. And when she called me, she said, I can't believe, where are all the men? I said, I've been telling you that. There is a shortage of marriage eligible black men. Ladies, tell me if you've noticed any of this, especially you live in major cities. There is a shortage of straight men who are single, who want to commit, who are making enough money to feel comfortable being somebody's husband. Give me a yes or no if you've noticed this. Right? Because you find the guy, he looks like Mr. Perfect. You find out he's got a wife, or you find out that he likes to sleep with dudes, or you find out that there's some other stuff going on that you didn't know about, or maybe he just doesn't want to commit because he's got too many options. Right? Now, and people exploit this. There are people who get out here and they act like it just came out of thin air, or they talk about it like something's wrong with black women and y'all don't do this right and y'all don't do that right. And I just look at that and I'm thinking, don't you understand the ecological imbalance that was created when they passed these policies that was incarcerating every black man in this country? Do you know my biggest fear in the 1990s? I swear to God, my biggest fear as a black man was getting shot by another black man. I didn't worry about police. Police didn't really mess with me. As long as I cooperated, that was fine. But it was the other crazy Negroes that worried me. I knew dudes who got shot in the head in front of their kids, right? I knew these things, right? And the second fear I had was getting sent to prison over something minor, something that a white boy would never go to jail for, something that Hunter Biden could get away with 1,000 times. I knew that my margin of error was thin. So this links to how I felt. All these things were triggered. All these feelings were triggered when I saw that trailer for the Black Panther movie. And let me tell you why, because here's what goes on. When you conquer a people, you kill all the men, you take the women, and you enslave the children. The man who killed your men in your community is the same man who shows up as your Prince Charming. He's the same man that shows up with the money and the power and all these things you want. So next thing you know, you're watching that little black lady, what's her name, get married to Prince Harry, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry get married. And you're like, oh, that's so romantic. I wish black men would do these kinds of things. Gosh, I wish black men would. Right. So that is all designed in a certain way. They create the problem and make themselves into the solution. This is not anti-white. This is pro-black. So if you're white, don't get offended. Go research everything I said. You know that this is true. You know that racism has existed for hundreds of years. Stop acting like you don't see all of this. They talk about the so-called missing black man as if there's something wrong with black women or if there's something wrong with black men. And that is simply not true. But a lot of it you can trace back to the root. Entertainment is another area where this imbalance is exacerbated. It's exacerbated, number one, through hip hop music funded by people who are not black. A lot of that garbage on the radio is not funded by us. They put that garbage on the radio that basically makes you feel like as a black man that you're supposed to be a 40-year-old teenager. That if you ain't run around like Future with 18 babies, mamas, and all kinds of financial irresponsibility and disrespecting women at every turn and high and drunk as much as possible, that you ain't lit, you ain't cool, you ain't interesting. And even some of the women fall for it, and they want to be with men like that. They'll pass over a good man so they can go chase a guy who doesn't give a damn about family, doesn't give a damn about community, doesn't care about anybody but himself, and he's a piece of trash. They create this imbalance because they started with the black exploitation movies in the 70s. They started glorifying that pimp behavior. Ain't nothing to look up to in a pimp. But all the black men starting in the 70s and beyond, they want to be like the pimps and they want to be like the rappers. And so some of your men that could be quality men are looking at media that's telling them to be everything that's the exact opposite of that. This all traces back to the structure of your families. It traces back to the wealth levels in your communities. You cannot build wealth without family. The lowest net worth in America is that of the single black mother with children. She has the lowest the median net worth of a single black mother with children in America is $5. Net worth, that is assets minus liabilities. The median is $5. For white women, it's about $40,000. Black women, it's $5. That's because you don't have men next to you that are helping you make money. The people, when you have two people working toward the same goal together, you can accomplish more than when you have one person feel like they have to be Superman and the Incredible Hulk and all this other stuff and do it all by themselves. I'm sorry, ladies, I hate to say it, but you cannot be a dad. You're not a dad. You're great moms, but you're not a dad. And the world shouldn't force you to be a dad. So let's get back to this movie. As I move on, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Also, if you want to get text alerts when I go live periodically, just text the word Boyce to 31996. You can text Boyce to 31996. Somebody type that in the chat, please, so others can see it. Text Boyce to 31996. You can get on our text list, and I'll hit you up when I go live periodically. All right, so here's the deal. So I was looking at this Black Panther movie, and I saw the trailer. And how many of you saw the trailer for Black Panther? Give me a yes or no if you saw the trailer. I watched the trailer, and I'll admit I was super excited to watch the trailer. I saw the first one, and I really liked it. Yeah, it's a Disney movie. I mean, let's just be clear. That 1.3 billion that they made from that movie, that money does not go to black people. That money goes to the shareholders, the Disney shareholders. Now, fortunately, I am a shareholder of Disney. That's why I tell you all, you got to own shares of stock if you really want to have a piece of America. So I'm not totally offended by that. But at the same time, that's not a black-owned movie. That's a movie with black faces. And the thing that you have to be careful about in entertainment in terms of understanding the dynamics of the economics in that space is you can't get attached to something you do not own. If you are a babysitter for a child, that means you are the babysitter. You are not the mother. You are not the father of that child. So the same thing is true. When you are attached to media that you say, oh, that's my favorite black show. Well, who owns the damn show? You are putting yourself in danger of losing something that you value. If you think that if you're babysitting a child every day and you think that you're that child's mother, then what's going to happen is the real mother is going to come along and veto everything that you want to do. And it's going to break your heart. The same thing is true when you have shows like Different World. You guys know, I brought him on here, Daryl Bell, who played Ron on A Different World. Daryl is a great friend of mine. He's a great guy. He's extremely smart and I love him. And Daryl was explaining to me that the reason they haven't done a reboot on Different World like they did with Friends and Roseanne and some of these other stupid shows is because Different World is not owned by black people. The cast members who created Different World can't bring it back. They have to go ask Warner Brothers permission to bring Different World back. And Warner Brothers is like, we'll think about it. Because it don't mean the same to them as it does to you. Even Whitley Gilbert, even her country accent, she used to say, DeWine, I love DeWine, right? She can't even use that accent in public without getting sued because they put a trademark on her accent. That's how crazy, that's how gangster they are with owning their stuff. That's how committed they are to owning things. So Black people, I'm telling you that if you ever want to have power in this country, you got to focus on ownership like it's a damn religion. You have to embed that into the brains of your kids if they want to find something that you own. So the question to ask yourself all the time is, what do we own? Or who owns that? Do we own that? Is that ours? Or is that something that's marketed to us? Are they serving Black people or selling Black people? Is BET owned by Black people, or are they owned by a big white family that wants to basically sell us to a bunch of corporate sponsors? Is that what's going on here? Right? I think that's important to know. It doesn't mean that you don't enjoy the entertainment, but you don't get attached to things that don't belong to you. You know, it's like the economic version of, you know, they used to joke. I don't know if I get in trouble for saying this, but it's funny, but it's interesting. But I think Willie D, you've seen him on this channel. He said that a long time ago, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, right? So basically, when you have something that doesn't belong to you, something economic that's out there, that's a hoe, not a housewife. You can't love that thing as if that belongs to you, when really that thing belongs to the streets or belongs to somebody else. So at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff that you see out here, in terms of media, it ain't really yours. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. It just means you have to put a grain of salt in it. So when you're thinking about going to see the Black Panther movie and you're dressing like the characters in the movie, just understand that that's not really a Black-owned entity. And there are a ton of very talented Black filmmakers who are funding Black projects that don't get your support because we're all inundated with what Disney is doing for its shareholders. Do you understand what I'm saying? Give me a yes so we can move forward with the rest of our church for today. All right. So when I saw the trailer, I looked at the trailer, and maybe there's other trailers out there that are better. But the one I saw nothing but women in the trailer, pretty much. I mean, I saw I'll share my screen so you can see one of the images that was in the trailer. It came off, honestly, like Wonder Woman to me. I really felt like they were seeking to do something that's very important in our society, which is the feminist empowerment narrative. I think it's very important to empower women. I am a father of daughters. Lord knows I get that. I totally respect and appreciate that. And I love the idea of women, of recognizing the greatness of Black women. I don't think that the term strong Black woman is an insult. I think that Black women can be strong in a wonderful way. And my grandma was a strong Black woman. My mama was strong in Black, my sister, my wife, strong women everywhere. But my Lord Jesus, does being strong have to mean that you got to be masculine? Ladies, give me a yes or no. Like, do you think that strength means that a woman has to be ready to pick up a gun or a sword or a knife and fight as if she's the biggest dude on the block? Like, do you think that is the only way for a woman to be strong? You know, does a woman have to be strong? And I'm not making fun of the women that have their head shaved. I know that's fine. I mean, it's fine to do what you want with your hair. But Lord Jesus, I would never tell anybody what to do with their hair. But I want my daughters to understand different types of strength. You know, I think about, for example, maybe, and this is where entertainment affects me. I think about Felicia Rashad's character, which I think was actually consistent with who she is in real life. I know people that know Felicia, and she does carry herself with a lot of dignity and grace, and I just love it. But if you remember, Claire Huxtable's character was very strong and very capable. But did she ever shave her head in the show to like show how much of a dude she could be? Did she ever come in like in a pair of combat boots? Like, did she ever like pick up a billy club or a knife or a spear and get ready to fight people? And no, she didn't. She knew the strength of her feminine energy. She knew the strength of being a woman. Like that there are different types of female strength that doesn't involve you having to be a man. And so honestly, when I saw this Wonder Woman narrative, and I say Wonder Woman because if you remember, Wonder Woman was basically kind of a feminist fantasy film where effectively, really honestly, feminist LGBT fantasy film where they created this island where there were no men. All the women somehow, I guess they had sex with each other and gave birth to babies without men at all. and they were somehow able to reproduce without men. Like literally, that's the whole Wonder Woman narrative. She came from an island where there were only women, right? And I think that's weird. It's not natural. I don't know what made you want to annihilate and exterminate your men. I don't believe that is the nature of Black people. I believe that Black women who love the community are able to understand that look, they don't want to carry the whole load like a guy. They don't want to go fight the wars. If somebody breaks in my house, my wife doesn't want to be the one to have to go downstairs with a baseball bat and find out who it is. She's going to hide under the bed or wait in the room and maybe back me up. Maybe she'll have her own little weapon, but I'm going to go out there first because we're okay with some element of gender roles. When it's time to cook dinner, she will cook the dinner. She will cook it well. If I was cooking the dinner, everybody would be dead because I cannot cook. So ultimately, what I see is when you watch these films, what's unfortunately presented by Hollywood, and what unfortunately appears to be present in this trailer, is they're feeding on this narrative that the Black community is held down solely and completely by the women, that you have a manless narrative in the community, that your men don't have any masculinity, that they can't show up and fight side by side with the women. They're going to either be in the back or they're just not going to be in existence. And I think you have to be really careful about pushing those narratives in a community where your number one objective right now is rebuilding your families. The number one thing you must do if you're trying to build wealth, I talk about wealth all the time. You guys know my doctorate's in finance. I could talk to you about economics all day long. But the biggest thing that you must do is understand that if you ain't building family, then you can't even build wealth. I can tell you everything you need to know about investing, about real estate, 401ks, tax strategies and all that. None of that will work if you can't have a healthy family and you're continuously allowing the perpetuation of the same generational curses that set you back so much psychologically that you can't even focus long enough to pick up a damn book. Do you understand? We've talked about the ACEs scale, ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences Scale. Adverse Childhood Experiences Scale. This measures the amount of trauma that you experience growing up. This means if you've been beaten, or if you've been molested, or if you had a parent abandon you, or if you had an alcoholic mother or father around, all these things pile up, and this trauma can cripple you so much that you lose your ability to make healthy decisions. You lose your ability to do anything. In fact, you die younger when your ACEs score is high. And let me tell you, families that are broken have a much higher rate of trauma. You have much higher rates of poverty, which is traumatic in itself. You have much higher rates of molestation because your mama started dating a new man that she fell in love with, but don't realize that man's a child molester. You got all kinds of crazy. You got situations where you have siblings that got murdered because your brother was trying to be the man of the house at 14 years old and went out in the street, started slanging dope and got killed or got a 50-year sentence in prison. Like this trauma is everywhere. Everywhere. In fact, all these things I just named, give me a yes in the chat if you've experienced any of those things I mentioned. Give me a yes in the chat if you've experienced either a homicide in your direct family, a molestation in your direct family or to yourself, or some sort of dealing with addiction from a relative that really hurt your feelings and upset you as a child. I spoke to my friend yesterday in Philadelphia, and he was talking about how his uncle was on crack, and his uncle was tweaking and paranoid and crazy and ran him out into the snow in the middle of wintertime in his bare feet with his pajama pants on because he thought that he had messed with his stereo and it traumatized him. So to this day, he's obsessed with security. He's obsessed with always carrying a gun. He's obsessed with always knowing where his wife is at. He's obsessed with always prepping for disaster because he went through that type of shit every single day. Don't you understand how that affects you? And don't you understand where that comes from? Don't you understand? I mean, if he'd had a healthy uncle or a healthy father to protect him, that keeps him away from that trauma, which ultimately shaped his whole reality. So your number one objective, Black people, before you even start really talking about trying to build wealth and become millionaires and all that, is you got to understand, you got to fix yourselves and also fix your families. Because so this fatherless narrative that has been perpetuated, created through mass incarceration policies, through the CIA planting all those drugs in the Black community, and all these other things, that has manifested itself where a generation later, you have this drastic shortage in marriage eligible Black men. As a result, society looks at your community and says, what's wrong with those poor, pathetic people? What's wrong with their men? Their men are ridiculous. And their women, they're so strong. They can just hold it down. They can do anything. They're super women. And all the while, the women are depressed, sad as hell, forming all kinds of little quiet addictions like alcohol addictions where you drink the whole wine bottle because you got so many problems, sexual addictions where you just need the sex because that's the only time in your life that you're able to feel good, all kinds of issues, maybe a food addiction where the obesity is out of control because the food gives you comfort, right? So all of this is playing out in front of you. Some of you may be going through it right now, and I just want you to be aware that all this was a result of the circumstances that were created around you. And now there are people on the outside who are taking advantage of that narrative. They're taking advantage of the fact that you don't have any men around, so you decided to claim this, this masculine role as like, well, we hold it down. We got this. Me and the black women. We the strongest. We the baddest niggas in the block. We can take anybody. No, I think it's okay for you. If you want to be a woman, it's okay to be a woman. Nothing against trans people. I mean, if you want to be trans, like if you're a woman that wants to be a man, God bless you. Go do that. If you're a man that wants to be a woman, I'm not stopping you from doing that. I will never hate you, beat you up, or insult you because you decide you want to take a different role. But I personally believe, perhaps naively, that most black women who are doing it all by themselves, they don't really want it to be that way. I don't believe that they want that. And I also believe that if you keep feeding out these narratives that women can pick up bazookas and carry their ball sacks around and beat everybody up, I just don't think that that's going to help the family come together because when one masculine character meets another masculine character in life, then you're going to bump heads. You're not going to go into that natural masculine feminine role where the man feels protective of the woman feels supportive of the man. You're going to have two dudes fighting it out. And next thing you know, she's going to let you know that she don't really need you anyway. And so you're going to be like, well, since you don't need me, I'm going to go and I'm out. And next thing you know, you recreated the same narrative. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, I want to remind everybody that this week we're doing the Black Wealth Builders Summit in Detroit with Herb Strather and Gary Shelton. These are two great black men who've done over $1 billion worth of deals, and they're doing their Black Wealth Summit up there. I'm going to support them. If you'd like to join us, just go to boycewatkins.com. It's going to be in Detroit the weekend of July 29th. And also, if you're interested in stock options, I have some free stuff on stock options you can take a look at that can help you get started. So feel free to go to drboyceoptions.com. We've been doing a lot of stock option stuff lately, and I encourage you to add stock options to your investing. Everybody on this channel, if you don't own stock, I encourage you to do that. That's where wealth comes from. If you look at wealthy people versus non-wealthy people, you'll find wealthy people have a much higher rate of stock ownership. And so when we're talking about Disney, the way you benefit from a Black Panther movie is you become a Disney shareholder. I'm a Disney shareholder. I think you should be too. It's a very good company, actually very well run. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so here's a couple more things. All right, so talking about the money. First off, the Black Panther movie, the first one made about $1.3 billion. Just understand that money is coming out of your community for the most part. That money is not coming back. That is money that you are giving away. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that I look around in the community and I see people giving grief to Black-owned businesses. They'll look at something like the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, which raised about maybe 1/1000th of what Disney makes on every Black Panther movie, and they say, "Oh, you're taking from Black people. You got Black people's money. What's wrong with you?" And I'm sitting here trying to figure out why you are mad at the Black man who raised $10 million, but you have no issue with the white-owned company that raised $1.3 billion that gave nothing back. I know where the Tulsa Real Estate Fund money, a lot of that money went. I can go down to Atlanta and go to the Black House, the Legacy Center, and I have an office there now because I wanted to support them. And my wife did an event there. I see that. That's real. I see Black kids getting mentored in that place. I want you to show me a place that Disney has built that is doing the same thing. There's nothing. They're not giving that money back to you. They owe you nothing, right? So ultimately, I encourage you to just pay close attention to where your money's going, because that's where your wealth is leading to. And also, I want to say this. Look, when you're talking about this movie, I'm not saying that women can't fight. I'm not saying that women can't take whatever role that they want to take, just like men can take any role that we want to take. But I will say this. I think the way I felt was, if there's fighting happening, if there's something masculine happening, I don't like the idea. I don't like the imagery where the women are doing most of the fighting and the men are doing a little bit of the fighting, but not the majority of it. I think that in a situation that involves war, men, just for simple imagery purposes, because images matter. How you see yourself on screen matters. How it matters to how the world views you as well. So in my view, when there's fighting happening, the men do the majority of the fighting. The women can help for sure. Just the same way there might be other roles, like if there was a show about hair and nails and makeup, or whatever, right? The men can participate for sure. But but think about this: imagine if men said, no, we're going to do the majority of the hair, the nails, and the makeup, and women, you can have one slot, but the other 8 people involved are going to all be men. A lot of women would probably feel some kind of way. If you think about sports, for example, when you got the whole transgender thing, right? Now you got men that used to be men that say, hey, I think I'm a woman too. And they're competing in women's sports and taking all the fucking gold medals. Well, women are like, well, damn, like that ain't right. Like you're taking, like, this is our space. And I understand that, right? When that guy, did you see that guy at Yale University? He's like really big with an Adam's apple. And he was like the number 400th best male swimmer in the world. And then he decided he wanted to be a woman. And suddenly he was breaking records and winning gold medals and winning nationals. This is kind of, I think, how I feel when we get to a point in this movie where women are doing most of the things that men traditionally do. It's not to say that you can't have those feminine warriors. It's not to say you can't have, I'm not disrespecting the fact that they shave their heads. I'm not disrespecting the fact that they want to fight. I'm not disrespecting the fact that they're extremely strong in terms of their leadership. But I think we should be doing this together. And I think men should be heavily involved, if not the leaders, in many of these capacities, not because we're better, but because there are certain things that we might do. There are certain strengths that we have that belong to us, just like there are strengths that my wife has that belong to her. My wife does not, if I go in the kitchen, I'm helping. I'm not going to dominate and take the kitchen away from her. If it comes to raising our girls and teaching them how to be women, I'm helping. I'm not taking over the job and saying, well, I know how to be a woman. Let me show you how to use a tampon. That don't make no damn sense. That's weird, right? So ultimately, a lot of this stuff that they have you thinking, a lot of this stuff that they have you doing based on these Hollywood narratives is just a little bit weird. So I'm not saying that the movie is bad. I haven't seen the movie. I'm saying that based on what I saw in the trailer, I don't want to see the movie. I saw the movie and I said, wow, that's a really nice chick flick. That could be a good girls empowerment movie for the Girl Scouts or something. Or if you're training little girls on how to go out and fight, or if you're preparing them to be single moms who have to fight the whole world and do it all by themselves, then that's great. But as far as what I saw nothing in this movie that inspired me in terms of what image I have for our community. I don't visualize any type of world where women are excluded or women are not allowed to be as great as they want to be. But I definitely command that there be a world where Black men and Black women understand that we need each other. Do we understand? Do you get that? Give me a yes in the chat if you can at least hear what I'm saying. You ain't got to agree. I'm not telling you what to do. You can go see the movie. I probably won't be there with you because I was a little disappointed in the trailer. I watched the trailer expecting to be convinced to go see the movie. Like I'm going to go see Jordan Peele's movie. I think Jordan Peele's the best director out there. He's the best ever. But I saw this trailer and I said, oh my God. It's not so much to say, I don't even know if Ryan Coogler is the guy who pushed all this through. I believe that there were some folks in Hollywood with their agenda, their bullshit agenda, that forced him to make this movie in the way that it looks right now. And it makes me sad because I don't have anything against the actors in the film. I don't have anything against the writers or the director, but I do have an issue with the corporate machine that is behind the creation of these projects. And y'all know what it is. If you don't see the racism in entertainment, then either we need to spend a lot of time talking to each other, or maybe we shouldn't even talk at all, because it's all right there in front of you. And it explains partly why your community is in shambles. They're pushing images and messages that are not to your benefit. So it's very important that you gain your own thinking, have your own conversations. Don't let these people put stuff in front of you that isn't healthy for where you want to go and what you want to be. Do you agree? Do you get what I'm saying? Give me a yes if you get what I'm saying. I'm going to bounce on out of here. I'm a little bit late for a meeting. Anyway, if you want to get text messages whenever I go live, just text the word Boyce to 31996. That's Boyce. Text that to 31996. Also, if you go to boycewatkins.com, I've got some stuff there, some stock picks and stuff like that. So feel free to just go to my website, and there's plenty of stuff there. If you want to join us for class on Wednesday and Thursday, feel free to do that. We do classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday is stocks, Wednesday is Powernomics, Thursday is stock options. So we have a lot of stuff going on for you in the Black Business School. I hope you'll take a look and check it out. All right, everybody. Love you. Please have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Take care now. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.